For all my life I had gone to the same school, which was only 9 years at this time. Then, due to COVID, I moved into online school for my grade 9 year. Then for my grade 10 year, me and my family made the choice to move to a school called ACS, which was a lot closer to our house. It was a good transition, and I had a lot of fun making new friends and meeting new teachers and learning all about the way this new school worked. But besides the new school, the year had been pretty boring. All that changed when during the spring break of my grade 10 year, me and my family took a road trip down the California coast. Around halfway through our road trip, we stopped in a little German town called Solvang. This town was founded by Germans a long time ago, so it was full of German buildings and German activities. There are lots of things to do here, from anything from beer tasting to craft making. Around the end of our time there, we saw a little sign in the store that said free piercings with purchase of an earring. I pointed it out to my family and we laughed about it, as if someone would see that sign and want to get a piercing. So we headed off to dinner, where we had a typical German dinner of sausages and pretzels. During the dinner, we kept talking about that sign of the earrings, and I found out that my dad had also had a piercing when he was younger. Him and a bunch of friends had gone out one day to the mall and come back with having a piercing. Him and his brother had both gotten one, and they still talked about it even today. While he was telling the story, I remember thinking to myself, that's kind of cool, he just took that risk and did that, and now he has a cool story to tell. So by the end of dinner, I had made up my mind that I also wanted to get a piercing. After dinner, we walked back to the store and asked them about it. It turns out they forgot the sign was up and they couldn't actually do it anymore. Disappointed, we went back to our hotel. I looked up online other places that I could get it done, and after an hour of research, I had found the place. So the next morning, after a quick breakfast, we headed off. Even though I wasn't fully sure about it, I already made up in my mind that I wanted to do this and I wanted to follow through with it. It took around an hour to get there, which gave me a lot of time to think about it, and I decided that I was going to do this even though it was uncomfortable. When we got there, all of a sudden the nervousness kicked in. I realized what was going to happen, and it started making me doubt. We walked into the store and passed all the rows of shiny, sharp, pokey little metal objects that were supposed to go through my ear. Walking past them, I started to second guess my decision. But all of a sudden, it went by fast as a blur of signing the form that would release a store of all responsibility, picking out the shape that I wanted, the employee loading the gun that would shoot the earring through my ear, and after a loud noise, I had a new earring. My brothers had videoed this moment as they wanted me to remember this after. They seemed to know that I would regret it already. Right after I got it, I remember thinking, I regret this and I shouldn't have done it. But it was too late, as we had already paid and were walking out of the store. As we walked out of the store, I began to notice more and more people with earrings. I had never noticed them before, but now I did. Even now, around 2 years after I got this earring, I still sometimes think about taking it out. But every time I do, I remember all that excitement that happened when I was getting it. And even though I didn't want to fully in the moment, I still did it and I still have it today. So overall, I don't regret this, as now I also have a story to tell, just like my dad, and this shows how sometimes we have to take risks, especially when we don't want to do it, because who knows, even years after, we may still like what we did and not regret it. This is what happened with my earring story, and I'm glad I got it in the end, because I still have it today.